and welcome to Hot English Topics with Miss Simon. And we know that out there we have COVID-19, so I hope that you are staying safe, washing your hands and sanitizing. Today we're continuing with short story and we're talking about the element of plot. So come on with me and let's continue, right? Plot. What exactly is the plot? Well, the plot is the organized pattern or sequence of events that make up a story. So it's a sequence of events. Okay, so here we have this diagram of how your plot is going to evolve throughout your story. So you have your introduction and your exposition. We'll get into these just now. Then you have your rising action, so it's coming up this way. Then you have your falling action. You have your conflict to the top here where it peaks, and then you have your falling action. You also have your resolution, which is at the end of your story, right? Right, so here we have the exposition. If you remember from the diagram, that's how it begins. This is the part of the story that introduces important background information, right? For example, the setting, we spoke about that, and events occurring before the main plot, or you even introducing the character's backstory, right? So this is where you're giving them a little bit of information on what your story is even going to be about and who is in your story and where it's going to be. Then you have your rising action. This is the first part that goes up like this on the main diagram. Your rising action. This is where you have a series of conflicts in a literary plot that build toward the point of greatest interest. Suspense is building. This is one of the main parts of your plot, main parts of your story, the climax. That is the turning point of the story, the point of highest intensity or drama. That is your climax. And then you have your falling action. So your falling action, as you can see here on the diagram, is after the conflict. Falling action. So that is what occurs after the climax has been reached and the conflict has been resolved. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I'm sure you guys have watched Finding Nemo, right?
Yes, of course.
Nice. So here we're going to look at Finding Nemo. As you would remember from before, exposition is the information that is leading up to the rising action, right? So in Finding Nemo, your exposition and introduction will be introducing characters such as the clownfish, the two clownfish, daddy fish and baby fish, which is Marlin and Nemo, right? Good. And they told us about the setting. So they introduced the characters to give us a little background about them. And the setting, which was the sea anemone. And they basically lived there in peace and whatnot. Nothing is really happening as yet. But then, boom, you have rising action. Series of conflicts. And here, you will see that the two clownfishes here were fighting. Remember when the dad and the son had a little fight? So the rising action introduces some tension. It can't just be going boring, and something has to happen, as we said from before. So here you see them going, rawr, erg, you don't ever let me be myself and do what I want to do. No, Nemo, you can't do it. You need to follow my instructions. And then Nemo is captured. Boom, rising action. And then you have your climax, which is the turning point of the story. So after all the tralala happens in the rising action, right? All of this stuff that would be taking place here, you must have a conflict. And this is where your story has a turning point before the falling action. So nothing after the conflict is going to be the same again, right? So a climax in the story, in the show Nemo, would be when the father realized that he could believe in his son, or that he needs to believe in his son in order for them to move forward and for Nemo to feel a sense of independence and strength, right? That it's okay to let go then. right? So you'll see Nemo and what's her name, Dory here, saying swim down, and telling all the other fishies to swim down, right? And then father says, I believe in you, Nemo, you can do it. Everyone, swim down, listen to my son, which was nothing he would have ever said before, right? So this is the climax or the turning point of the story. And then your falling action, this is the part of your plot that talks about, that deals with the conflict and how it's going to be resolved, right? So here you have the father and Nemo being reunited again. Falling action. And they even make a friend. And in the resolution, you see that Marlin was excited to send Nemo to school again, right? He was finally willing to trust that he will be okay after all that they've been through, and the fact that Nemo has definitely grown up and listened to his words of wisdom and can handle his himself, and he can hold his own, right? So Nemo has a new friend, Squirt, and all too. So all of that is part of the resolution. So just to go over the stuff here, because I realized I left out the shark thingy. In the rising action, they had also met the sharks, and then the father had met Dory. So he was saying here, have you seen my son Nemo? And then Dory says, Elmo, right? And I sent a worksheet today for you guys to do, talking about dialogue and showing how you can find out character traits through dialogue, right? So all of this can take place in your rising action, right? Okay, so today, let's recap. We did plot, and plot is the sequence of events. Right, so you have exposition, rising action,
climax,
falling action,
resolution.
And today we did what? Was it characters?
No.
Today we spoke about
Plot.
Good. And that was the what again? Sequence of events. Nice. Good job. Alright guys, I'll see you next time for Hot English Topics with Miss Simon, and I hope that you guys enjoyed today. Make sure and do my work. Bye.